first and foremost, welcome. Good morning. Good morning. It's Wednesday. It's weird to think we're already halfway through the week because there really wasn't a Monday. So happy hump day, and hopefully it will be a great rest of the week for you. I am so excited to host this call today because I get to listen to one of my most amazing leaders who I truly adore. And I'm not just saying that. I truly adore Melissa, how hard she works, everything that she stands for. So with that being said, Miss Melissa Brewer, and I know it looks like we're going to have some people pop on here in just a minute, but we're going to get started. So without further ado, 6-star diamond, 3-time elite, almost 4-time elite. Is that crazy?
No, it was 2-time and
almost 3.
Yeah.
Okay. There we go.
Sure. I don't know. Is that what you call it? I don't know.
I mean, it's official. It's not officially official, but yes.
Yeah.
She's 3-star diamond in her second CBC. She's an all-star legend. She's been doing this business for 2 years. Former teacher, right? 4 years.
4 years.
Where? Okay, clearly vacation brain. I think I have it.
Well, I know it feels like 2 years,
but 2 years you've been doing it at home, right? Didn't you do it 2 years? Okay, and then 2 years.
At home for 2 years.
Yes. She's a mama of 3 and my little favorite little girl ever, Josie. Love her to pieces.
I know.
And then she's married to Jeff. She lives in Utah, which is super cool because she's down the street, but not really. She's like an hour and a half that direction. But will you tell us more about yourself, please, Melissa?
Yeah, of course. When Brittany was asking me some of the things, I told her I've been home now for 2 years thanks to Beachbody. So I've actually been a coach for like 4.5 years and worked as a teacher for the first 1.5 years and then in the corporate world for the second year. And then when I had met my corporate income, I guess, is when I was like, all right, I've quadrupled my teaching income. I've met my corporate job income and it's time for me to be home. I feel I'm one of those people that needs that security. Like I needed to know for sure, like this was real. It wasn't something that was going to be like awesome and then not awesome. And so I really just knew that if I hustled and if I worked hard and if I could do it while I was working full time, I could do it at home as a mom, which I feel like is harder than a full-time job. So, so yeah, that's kind of like where that confusion came from, but I feel really, really lucky and oops, am I frozen? My computer, like my video switched. It was weird, but I feel really lucky that, I get to be here. I feel like Beachbody came into my life like right when it was supposed to. I'm not sure if like a lot of you can relate to that, but I really believe in like things happening for a reason and at the time that we need it most. And I know that 4.5 years ago, that was the perfect time for me to be introduced to what this opportunity had. I honestly didn't even know that I was starting a business. That's how naive I was. When I became a coach, all I knew was that I was going to be able to earn money and eventually leave my job. And then I found out that it wasn't like they were paying me, like I was a 1099 employee, and I learned all this stuff about the business, and I really had to learn and grow through a lot of those obstacles and figuring out what it looks like to run a business and to be a CEO and to have those responsibilities. But it's been amazing. It's been really fun, and I feel like the friendships that I've made have been, I don't know, like some of the best and most genuine that I've ever had in my life. So I don't know what else you want me to talk about, but that's kind of who I am.
No, that's so good. And I gave a lot of background on you too. You know, obviously when I was promoting it, one thing I didn't say is, you were really, really great at building leaders and building that community, that foundation. On top of it, you're really great at teaching your coaches how to create income and to, that CEO entrepreneur mindset. So that's a little more backstory, but let's just open it up. So I'm just going to say, ladies and gent, I saw Justin jump on for 1.2 seconds. Oh, he's here. He's not visible, but I see his name. So without further ado, will you please just unmute yourself and start asking, have a conversation with Melissa. Like, this is your opportunity to rub elbows with a very, very strong coach, extremely strong. So I would love for you to take that time.
I'll go.
Please.
Hi,
I have
Jessica.
all these questions. First of all, thanks for being here. I'm super excited to learn from you and what's worked for you. Would you kind of walk us through what your getting started right process looks like for people who come in wanting to work the business? And then would you also tell us how you mentor those people who really want to take the business seriously and go like make that first huge goal of hitting diamond and beyond, what that looks like for you?
Yeah, absolutely. So I have changed my onboarding process in the past year. So I'm glad that you asked this, because I kind of feel like I've been around the block a little bit with trying to find the right thing that works for me. And if anything, that like any advice that I can give, it is like try things until you find something that works. And it is a trial and error process, because you're going to hear so many different things from all these different coaches, and that can get exhausting. But I challenge you to like find something that you're like, yes, this is really something that I can do. Like it fits into my life. It fits into my schedule. It's going to work for my coaches, and I'm going to give them the tools and resources that they need to be successful. And I'm going to develop leaders that way. So what I have started doing this year is, as soon as I have a coach that signs up, I mean, I know if they're a hobby coach, I know if they're going to be a working coach, and I know if they're going to be like a hustling, sprinting, running coach. So depending on what type of coach they are, I plug them all into the same process, but connect with the runners more, the hobby coaches a little less, the ones, you know, they're still involved in the message threads, and then the discount coaches, or the people who are just kind of wanting to use the products and still kind of be on the team page, but not necessarily do and run a business. They all get the same things, but I just communicate a little bit differently with each of these types of coaches. So the first thing that I do as soon as they sign up is I send them a welcome email. And in that email, the reason I send an email is it's just something easier. I've got it in my phone. It's something I can send from anywhere, because I'm rarely like in my living room working from home when someone's wanting to sign up. And I don't know if that's how you guys are, but I feel like it's always when I'm like at the grocery store, or like in the car at school pickup or whatever. So what I do is I send them an email, and in that email, it welcomes them to our team. It tells them kind of what to expect. It talks about the nerves that they're going to feel, because almost everyone feels a little bit overwhelmed. And actually, do you guys want me to read it to you? Because maybe that will help you to feel like the way that I speak to my new coaches, and what I'm telling them, and how I'm sharing what they're doing with them. So my email says, welcome to Team Fit Crew. That's my team. Sorry, I've got to find it. Send a lot of emails. Okay. So, and honestly, I just speak to them as if I'm speaking to one of my best friends, because I do feel like I connect and get connected really well with a lot of my new coaches. So I'll say, I'm so excited for you on this incredible journey, or I'm so excited for you and this incredible journey that you are embarking on with our team. It makes my heart so happy to be able to mentor you through this. I know you will absolutely inspire, and you're going to empower so many women on this journey. I'm so thrilled for you. First of all, here's a quick welcome and some info on how to get rockin'. Number one, Beachbody should have or already will be sending you an email called the First 30. I like to talk about the First 30 first, because usually they get that email like as soon as they sign up. And they're going to be like, what the heck is this First 30? I don't even know what this is. What do I need to do? So I like to really address that. And I feel like it is helpful for them to be like, oh, like she knows I'm getting this. She knows that it's like that I'm working on this. And so I'll tell them, I say, be sure you're doing these things. They're necessary for your business, and ensuring that you're getting your business set up correctly. It shouldn't take too long to complete, but reach out to me if you have any questions about it. There is a questionnaire and checklist that they will have you fill out, and this is just for your information. So you know who to contact and who is your upline, which is me. Totally let me know if you need any help filling this out. Number two, sorry, I do not know how to turn that crap off. Let me see if I can do this. Okay, number two, The new coach checklist. This is a form I have created for my coaches. It goes through like just a few of the basic things that they need to know when they're getting started as a coach, like where their back office is, like what is Shakeology, like what is, like just really some of the most basic things. And so I just tell them, please fill this out next. They also have a section where they tell me a little bit about themselves. They talk about why they wanted to become a coach. They talk about information about their family, when their birthday is, like little things that I want to know about them so I can really become their best friend. And I say, make sure you go through this info thoroughly. It's so important that you get started on the right foot and really understand these essentials. This is phase 1 of your new coach training. Once I receive your completed form, I will move you into phase 2, but you have to complete phase 1 first. Text me and I give them my phone number, or email me once you've completed this step. Don't rush. Just take your time and go through it however you need to. Number 3, I tell them, as you complete your form, I'll welcome you into our team pages. And I tell them what they are. I add them to my team page, my personally sponsored team page, and then my coach's upline page. And I only add them to 3. I think that's a lot already. But I explain why they're being added to 3 pages, and I tell them what that is. So I'll say, I have a personally sponsored coaches page. I offer little, incentives and little prizes and things for people who are doing awesome things in their business. And that's only for my PS coaches. And that's where those will take place. In our big team page, that's our entire downline, blah, blah, blah. So I explain what those things are. And then number 4, please attend our new coach call. This is something I'd never done before. I started hosting new coach calls, or getting started right calls, just like for 5 months ago maybe. And it has changed everything for my new coaches. They're able to hear my voice. They don't have to have done anything before. They don't have to fill out any forms or like complete any trainings, nothing. I literally walk them through what their first goals are as a coach, what they need to be doing every day, what their posting should look like. So there's no questions. And the biggest thing is they're not going onto their social media and being like super salesy and gross. Okay, so they get to see what it should look like. They get to learn how to take a pretty selfie. They get to learn what their social media should look like, what not to do, what to do. Like it really walks them through. So I'm almost holding their hand, because it's scary at first. Like I remember thinking, I don't know what the heck I'm doing. And I would just copy my coach. Like I would literally like copy and paste what my coach wrote. And that's not what I want them to do. So I really explained to them what they're sharing, what they should be posting, the pictures, what they should look like, all that fun stuff. So they attend the new coach call. And then the 5th and final thing is their phase 2 of the training. And that's the 14-day new coach university. I give them the link. I say, enroll here and do this at your own pace. You can do 1 day at a time. You can do 4 days at a time. Like it doesn't matter to me, as long as you're going through the training at your pace and that is set for your goals. And then I tell them, I say, once you have completed this training, you need to text me and we're going to set up a one-on-one and talk about your next steps, your goals, things that you're working towards. That's where we talk about like their 30, 60, 90 goals. That's something I learned in the corporate world and that I think is pretty common. So really setting up like a 1 month, 3 month, 6 month goals and where they want to see themselves. And then we talk about what needs to happen in order for them to get to those goals. I don't have my chat open. Okay, yeah, I'll share that with Britt because it does have links and it won't work in the chat, I don't think. The training is hosted through Thinkific. I like that because you can track exactly where they're at. My entire downline uses it. And I used to, this is another thing I changed and I highly recommend you do as a leader. And I wish I would have done it a lot earlier. But get a few of your rockstar coaches and create your own training because your coaches need to see your face in the training and when they're learning about the coaching life. Like they need to see that you're their leader and they're going to trust you more and they're going to come to you more when they have questions. But yeah, I feel like, so what I did was I watched a whole lot of YouTube videos, and I sent them to my leaders, and I said, I want you to make a video like this. I want you to train on this topic, and I want it to have this information. You can speak like yourself. You can say it however you want to say it, but I want you to include this information. So they had the exact idea of what I was looking for in our training. They were excited because they want to be in the training. They want their coaches to see them as a leader. So they each took 2 topics. We made 14 days. We have 7 trainers, and so we're all kind of, or 7 leaders. So we're all kind of just showing up in the new coach training. What other questions you guys have? Did I answer all those, Jess? I don't remember if you asked something else.
That was super awesome and very helpful. Thank you. The other part of the question was, when someone says that they're ready to kind of set the goal of hitting diamond or beyond that, what does your mentorship with them look like? Do you do one-on-one calls, or is it a message thread, or?
Yeah. So in the very beginning, when I got to 5-star, I was doing diamond dashes. Like, that's how I first got to 5-star. And it took me like 3 years to get to 5, because I've been 5-star for like another year. I'm 6-star now, but hopefully going into 9-star qual this week. We're like really hustling, and I don't know if it's going to happen, but we're working for it. So, and I'll tell you what, like, the diamond dashes worked at that point. I don't feel like they work for my team now. My team needs like more direction and one-on-one instruction. So something I've been doing is giving them, and you also have to know your coaches, like what motivates them and what pushes them. The girls I was working with before were not motivated or inspired by retreats or like gifts, I guess. They were more inspired by money. Like, they were working moms who really needed money. They didn't have time to take off to go on a retreat. They didn't have the means to fly across the country. Like, they didn't have that ability. So that's why the diamond dashes worked for them, because they would put money into a pot, and then if they won, they would split it. So that worked for them. But my girls now, they're inspired by that community. They're inspired by that sense of like being a part of something really big. So right now we're working on a huge goal, and when we hit it, we're all going to Disneyland in February. So that's like really been helping them. Like, I have a girl who last week, she hit 1-star qualification. So I'm hosting a retreat in September just so she could make it to that retreat. Like, she hustled harder than like anyone I've ever seen. And that just shows me that my coaches have shifted, like their purpose and their reason for being a part of my team and my community has shifted a little bit. And so I'm kind of meeting their dreams. Like, I'm meeting what they want. And all of them, like, I collectively asked them, I'm like, what do you guys want as a reward for hitting your goals? And we came up with the idea of going on a trip to California together. Like, we're going to go to corporate. We're going to go to Disneyland. We're going to do all those things together as a team and celebrate. And I get to spoil them and do those things when we hit that goal. So that's what is pushing them now. But I think I like to do one-on-one calls. I recently, from our other mastermind, started implementing like a diamond internship kind of. So I've taken, the girls in the other group did 1 coach, but I've taken 2 coaches under my wing and meet with them once a week for an hour. And we talk about all the questions that they have, all the coaches that they're mentoring, how, sometimes I'll even get on a call with their team and try and inspire, motivate, and encourage and just breathe belief into them. Because a lot of these girls are newer coaches and maybe have some like doubts, like we all did and do, like feeling a little bit of lack in their leadership. And when I breathe that belief into them as a leader, and when I talk to their team, I'm like, you guys have the best leader in the world. Like, I don't know if you know how lucky you are. And I just tell them, and I really talk up that coach. So then they're almost feeling like, oh my gosh, I've got to like show up for my coach. Like, she's an amazing coach and I want to be a part of that amazing team and I want to do big things. And it almost just inspires them to do something that maybe they didn't even realize that they were capable of before. So yeah, one-on-one calls. I get on calls with their teams. Oh, and another thing that we have been doing that I think has really helped is having our coaches in that thread. So I call it our Disney Dash. I don't know. It's a stupid name, but they have to post their power hour every day. So we have a goal of inviting, we're using like the, I don't know, we do like the notebook thing. So where you invite, and I'm doing it with them. Like you can see, like I write down all the names too. So we're inviting 62 people or 60 people, however many lines are in your notebook. And we do that every single day. And then they take a picture of it and post it in the thread. And when they see other coaches doing that, then they're like, oh crap, like I got to do that. And I have brand new coaches that are doing this. And they're like, oh my gosh, it took me an hour just to send 30. That's all I could do today because I have to go to work. And I'm like, dude, that's 30 invites that you wouldn't have sent otherwise. Like, it's great. It's totally fine.
So I'm sorry, would you expand on that a little bit? Because I've never heard of that strategy of your power hour with the lines in your notebook.
Yeah, so this is just like the invite portion. And don't mind, this is how awesome my notebook is. Like it's falling apart. I should just rip that off. They just choose a notebook and then every single day you just go and invite. This is a brand new one for me, but you just go through and I like, even when I have people who like reach out to me, I just write them in the middle, but I just go through and you just write down all the names of the people that you're inviting and you just have to fill up 2 columns on your notebook. And that's when you can be done.
That's amazing. Is this cold market or is this people who you've already made relationships with?
These are just people who follow me. That's what I like to do. I think it's weird. And if you're messaging random people that aren't even following you, like, and this is something I learned from Kate Morgan. You guys, I don't know if you know her or not. Just kidding. But she is coming to speak at our Super Saturday. So I've been talking with her a lot. And she was like, how are you not inviting and you're hitting numbers like that? And I was like, well, I don't know. I just never invite. And she's like, you need to start inviting. So I took the challenge and I gave it to my team and that's what we've been doing. And for one, like they've been recruiting a ton more. They've been hitting higher Success Club numbers. Like I've never had so many coaches in my entire downline because I open this up to everyone. Like the retreat is not just for my PS, it's for everyone in my downline. I've never had so many people hitting SC10 and above. Like I used to have quite a few hitting that SC5 and now it's like I've got girls hitting SC18 and SC20 and like that might not seem like a huge number, but I'm not like a huge SC number person. For the first 3 years of my coaching business was literally hitting like SC5, SC10. Like that was standard. And up until just this year with To Be Mindset, like that's really when I've been kind of averaging between 20 and 30 and 40. And I promise you guys, like your coaches, whatever you're doing right now, you've heard this before, but it's so true. Like whatever you're doing right now, your coaches will do half that. So like if you're hitting SC60, then you're going to start getting coaches who are hitting Success Club 30. If you're hitting 100, you're going to get people hitting 50. Like you have to up your game and be the leader. And then your coaches will kind of follow your lead and they're going to do, they're still building that. I believe they're still growing as leaders. So they're going to just kind of follow what you're doing. Do you have a script that you or your teams? My scripts, I don't like use scripts, but it changes just depending on what I'm inviting to. But I keep them just really short and simple. Like I don't go and like send people a huge message. I keep it really short. Like, I don't know if you saw my stories, but I'm opening up my September group. It's going to be crazy fun. If you want the details or like, is it something you'd want details about? Okay, I'll read it to you because I literally send them every day. I still need to send mine. I don't want to click on a message that I haven't responded to yet though. Okay, let's see. Hold on. I gotta scroll down so I don't. Oops. Okay. Literally, it's like, this is my invite up here. Okay. It says, hey, I'm not sure if you saw my stories and you are interested or just watching, but I'd love to invite you to my upcoming group. Do you want details? That's it. That's the message. These are people I am constantly, every time I work out, I'm like, if you're looking for something like what I'm doing, or like I constantly talk about my group. And so I'll just send that invite and be like, I know you're watching. Like, I know they're watching because their name's on my watch list. And so I'll just say, I don't know if you saw, but this is my next group. Do you want details about it? And usually they'll be like, actually, yeah, I was wanting to message you, but I was just afraid. Yeah, I do want details. Like, a lot of people will, just say like, I was going to message you and I just forgot, or whatever. And that makes me feel like, and another girl was like, do you have a camera in my room? Because I was literally just talking to my husband about you. And I was like, well, that's creepy, but nope, I don't. Like, I'm just inviting.
Deanna, will you unmute yourself and ask your question, please?
Sorry, I didn't see your message.
Yeah, no problem. So it's really funny. This is actually perfect timing because I've been open about being like frozen with fear because Instagram is new to me. Like, Facebook's been my jam for 4 years, and I couldn't invite because it's so different. With Facebook, you're all about building relationships, and so then I'm Instagram. They're like, just send a message, and I'm like, oh, what? I can't do this, But everybody talked me off or on the ledge. I'm not sure which one. And I finally did it, and I actually have an amazing response. Like, yeah, I'd love more information. And then again, I'm like, I feel like a brand new coach. Like I haven't done this before. And so I'm like, well, now what do I send them? Like, do you do like a Google form? Do you do a video? Do you like ask about their goals? Like, what does your process look like on that?
All of the above, honestly. I think it's just different depending on how they respond. So if someone's like super short and they're like, yeah, I do want details, like that's all they say. Or if they're like, oh my gosh, like I've been like thinking about it. If they're like really engaging with me, then I'll do a video and I'll be like, okay, they feel my vibe. They like my vibe. I'm going to talk to them. If I feel like they're a little bit more hesitant, then I'll be like, this is the message that I've been sending in response. And I'll just tell you guys, I mean, it's not a secret. So I'll say, every single month I choose a handful of women who I take under my wing to support, encourage, teach, and give all the tools that you need to make this a lifestyle for the long haul. We create a really tight-knit community where we lean on one another and we lift each other up as we do programs together. This month, it's time to focus on you. We're going to be working on our fitness, our nutrition, our self-love, compassion, confidence, and our relationships. Does this sound like something that you'd be interested in? So I kind of I ask them another question because I tell them more about it. And like, we're really focusing on like marriages and things, like we're incorporating other things into it. And some people will be like, well, like I just spent money on a trainer, but this sounds like something awesome. And I'll be like, well, I can just send you the details and you can decide if it's something that you want to fit in. It's only 4 days a week. And then I'll like plug in Lift 4. Or if they're like, gosh, like I just struggle so much with my nutrition, then I'll say, okay, well, like, let's talk about the 2Me mindset. This is what I've been doing. And so I really ask them questions more than I tell them. So like, that's why I say, well, is this something that sounds like you would like? Like, would you like to be in a group that's really close knit? Would you like to be in a big community? Because those are the type of people that I want to work with. I want to work with people who are going to engage in the group. I don't want like quiet, silent people,
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Oh, and I was going to tell you, so like I do have a form as well, and I have that on my Instagram. So I'll do like the link to it, or I'll swipe up, or I'll say like, fill out this form if you're interested. If I'm talking in a message though, I think that sounds really weird. So I never like send the form in a message, but if I'm talking on my stories, I'll tell them about the form. And I do get quite a few. I wouldn't say I get like a lot of people filling out the form, but I do get quite a few every day. And the form is where like the conversation starts for me. So what else?
I guess I do have another question. So you're talking about, how your coaches, have these big goals and really crushing it. So I've talked to Brittany about this before, is I tend to find people, and I'm trying to change it by, how I share online. And I think people are starting to be responsive to it, but I tend to find people that are at the beginning of their journey, just like I was, that maybe don't have that confidence. And so they're like, gosh, I kind of want to do this, but I kind of don't have that belief in myself. So how do you find that you're finding coaches that already have that confidence, or are you needing to spend time to build that belief in them to have them actually realize what's possible?
Yeah, this is why I love, this is one of the reasons why I love our programs, because I feel like people can get really quick wins with our products, with our programs, with the 2B mindset. Within the first week of even just implementing the first principles of the 2B mindset, people are going to drop 5 pounds, just from drinking more water, literally. And so I will always just talk to them if they're worried about it. I have this one girl who, she did the program for a month. She had signed up as a coach, but she wasn't talking about it. I honestly thought she was just going to be another one that just fell off, but I kept checking in with her and I kept asking her, how are you doing? And she's like, oh my gosh, look at my 1 month progress pictures from 80-day obsession. And they were crazy. Her body was totally toning up. She's just a regular mom like me. She lives in a small town. I don't even know where St. Gerard, I can't even pronounce it. And I was like, well, you need to share this. You're coaching, you might as well share, just put it side by side and just say, you guys, I started something. It's crazy that it's working. I'm loving it so much. If you want more info, you should do it with me. And so she literally just a super simple post like that. She put it up and she's hitting diamond this week. And she's only been a coach for 3 months. Because she got that confidence from me, because I was like, your results look amazing. And I told her that you have to tell your coaches, you have to commit to a program. You have to do it 100%. You have to get results. That's why you're becoming a coach, for one. So don't cheat yourself. You're becoming a coach because you want to feel better in your own skin, feel more confident, help other women. If that's what you want and that's why you're here, then you have to do it. And I'm here to hold you accountable. And that's why I'm giving you this tough love. Okay. And it's okay to tell them you're not doing it. If they're not getting results, then they're not doing it. So just help give them that confidence to share. And I even told her what to say. I was like, just say it like this, but put it in your own words. And once she did, it was all of a sudden, literally every friend she had was like, what the heck? You look amazing. I want to do that too. And then even her really fit friends were like, I want to do that. And she's got a girl who's literally 1 coach away from diamond. So they just kind of come together, created this community. And she keeps telling me, she's like, girl, we're making a movement. We're starting a revolution over here. She talks like that. And she's seriously the most modern mom you would ever meet. You would look at her and you're like, you're so cute. You don't look like a super businesswoman. You just look like she works full time. So it's not like she's sitting at home all day. She's just a typical person. And I love that she is, because I want other people who feel I'm just a mom, or I'm just a full-time employee. I'm just here doing this. I want them to feel they can do it too. And that's what I love so much about her. She doesn't use that as an excuse. Oh, there's nothing exciting about me. I just go to work every day and I come home and I work out and I take care of my kids and I have no time and whatever. She uses that to her advantage.
Haven't you seen that you typically have to give them the permission to then go do that? That's what I keep on hearing that over and over again. It's giving them the permission to share their detail, their results, everything of that sort. Sorry, it's really loud around here. I'm gonna mute myself.
I totally agree. And last year, when I started really brainstorming with Britt, because I didn't really work with corporate for a long time. I think I was a 2 or 3 star before I really started meeting with Brittany. And that was when they started doing the corporate calls and when we started having one-on-ones. But as I talked more with her, we really found that my coaches struggled with confidence a lot. And I think that kind of is my fault, because that's something that I've always struggled with. And of course, you attract the people that are most like you. And so I was attracting all these people who were I want to do that, but I'm also really scared to do it. And so I started kind of bringing in this mantra of I'm just going to breathe that belief. I'm just going to constantly send the vibes through the computer. I'm going to send all the good vibes to you and tell them, just keep telling them like, you can do it. And it's almost like being a parent. Like we look at our kids and they go and they try something and they fail and they cry, and you're like, you're fine. Like you can walk, you can do this. You're just going to try again. And then they get up and they laugh and they're like, that was crazy. And they're wobbling. And you're like, you can keep trying, and you just have to keep breathing the belief into them like you would your children. Like you just have to keep reassuring them, like, it's okay to fail. Failing is good. This is something I did as a teacher as well. Like when my kids sucked at writing, I was like, this is good. Like we have somewhere to start. We know exactly where we need to work and what we need to work on. And we have something that we can do, like to move you along and to help you grow as a leader and as a coach and in your fitness and whatever. Like not being imperfect is actually really beneficial for this business, because I think when people see perfection, they then expect themselves to be that way. Like I look at I try not to look at too much now, but a few years ago when I was really trying to like find out like what kind of a coach I was, I'd follow a lot of coaches and I'd look at their feeds and I'm like, gosh, their pictures look way too perfect. Like my house is not perfect. You guys see it. Like my couches are always a mess. My office is in my living room. I don't have a gorgeous office with a cute little background and like bookshelves and motivational quotes and all that stuff. And I kept thinking like, that's going to hold me back. That's going to hold my business back. And when I just like accepted it and talked about it and owned it and was like, this is our life. Like we live in a tiny house and I still get to be home with my kids. And that's really all that matters. Then I started bringing in the moms that were like, gosh, like I didn't realize like I could do this without having the fancy pictures and without having that office and without being, home full time. And those are my people, because that's who I am. Like I don't necessarily need any of that to be successful. That's not what success is measured for me by. Like, yes, money drives me, but only because I want to take my kids on trips. I want to spend as much time as possible with my family. Like I want to bring my husband home from work because I'm selfish. I want to spend more time with him, Like it's not because I get to say that I did it. It's because that's really what's important to me. Like I don't care about cars. I don't care about houses. I don't care about anything. Like I literally wear Old Navy clothes and the cheapest stuff I can find because that's what I'm comfortable in. And I don't like to sweat in expensive stuff. So like, that's just, you have to think about who you are and own that. And then like, just give it to all of your coaches and be like, you're exactly like me. You can do exactly what I'm doing. If you want to leave your full-time job and be home with your kids, like follow me, because that's where I'm going. And that's what we're going to do together.
Can I just say though, it makes me giggle because you're saying all those things, but yet you are one of my most successful coaches. And I say that, I mean, they're even, it makes me think of like when other people were like growing and advancing, past, and you're like, wait a second. I remember you saying like, wait a second, like these things are happening. I said, yes, but let me remind you how strong you are. Like she is by far one of, and I won't put a dollar amount, but as far as like foundation, income wise, you are one of my most successful 6-star diamonds, like hands down. And so I love the fact that you're just real, you're raw. And now obviously you're growing into that. I mean, that's tomorrow you go into 9-star diamond qual, which is just crazy.
I don't know if it's going to happen.
It's okay. Work towards it. You're good. You're good. But it's just really cool to see, like you don't need all those flashy, glittery things to be successful in this business. Like you are beyond successful in this business.
Yeah.
I just am having like a little epiphany here. I'm like, I love this.
I remember like literally when I was finding out I was pregnant, I was sitting at my kitchen table and like the microwaves in the background, and Brittany's probably like, who is this freaking girl who thinks she can sit in her kitchen with this like 1940s microwave and her like cupboards open? I'm like, oh, hold on, Britt, I forgot to close my cupboards. I was doing the dishes. Like, like life is messy and it's okay. Like I love seeing Jessica holding her baby. Like that is literally my life. Like luckily Josie takes naps now in the mornings, but like literally every single call I was on for that first year of her life and for the first year of of Libby's life, like I have babies in my arms and I want moms to know like that's totally cool with me. Like I don't ever want one of my coaches to be like, oh, I'm so sorry, like I'm nursing right now. Or I'm so sorry, like I have all of my kids here. I'm like, so do I. I'm hosting the call, so it's all good, Like don't ever be ashamed of the life you're living, because like you get to live that life. You get to be home, you get to be here, you get to be present. And that I think is way more important than anything else.
Deanna, you unmuted yourself. Did you want to ask a question?
Oh, no, I didn't mean to. Sorry.
You're good. Okay, we have time for 2 more questions. What are you going to ask Miss Melissa? Don't hold back. You know I'll call you out.
You guys, I feel like I'm dominating this call. I have so many questions. I'll keep asking them if nobody else has them. Okay, so I know it's important for us to have something to invite to every month. What does your challenge group look like? How does that work with your team?
Okay, so I think I'm a little different in this way. And I'm actually like, when you just asked me this question, it kind of just like clicked for me, like literally just now. So I hope I even explain it correctly, but I feel like I don't run off of start dates. Like I start something, I am always talking about it. Like I have a start date and I'll be like, literally every Monday I share a transformation picture. I share a side-by-side, and then like, so it's like literally every 2 to 3 pictures that I'm sharing, and I'm either talking about coaching or I'm talking about a challenge group or I'm talking about like the workouts or the programs I'm doing. So I feel like I'm inviting almost every day. And I think that's been something that I've changed in the last year. So I'm always inviting. Like, it's not like I'm only inviting like twice a month to a group. And I know a lot of people say that works and that might work for them. But for me, I don't get like a huge influx of people who are like, I want in, like, I want to do this. It's like a few people a week, you know? And sometimes those people aren't actually pulling the trigger. So as long as I'm being consistent and consistently asking and inviting and talking about it, and I'm inviting in my stories and I'm inviting in my posts and I'm talking about my workouts, and I'm like, literally, it's just everywhere. I have people I've been talking to for years who are finally jumping in, and then people I've been talking to for a month or like even a week. Like, you have to be consistent in your invites, and it has to be across all different platforms. It has to be on your posting, on your stories. Like, it has to be like an actual invite where you're sending a message. All of those things together are going to help you really help the most people, because as you guys know, like, I sometimes am boggled that people look at hashtags. Like, I never go to a hashtag and look at it. Like, literally never. And I didn't even know that was a thing until seriously like a year ago. And I'm like, people actually spend time, like, I'm going to click on that hashtag. I'm going to scroll through it and I'm going to take a look and see what people are posting in this hashtag. Like, never in my mind would I ever do that, but people do it. So you have to use hashtags, and you have to think about what other people do, not necessarily what you do. But yeah, so what was I seeing? So like every Monday I'm posting a transformation picture. Every Tuesday I'm posting like a lifestyle picture. I try to include my kids on like Wednesday, since it's like a, random middle of the day week or middle of the weekday. On Thursdays or Fridays, I post another transformation picture, and I'll either talk about like a sneak peek or something else. Like, I run sneak peeks every 2 weeks with my team, and then I plug people in all the time, like every day throughout the week. It doesn't matter what day it is. It doesn't matter if it's live. I'm always putting people in there, or I'm getting on the phone with them and talking about coaching. Saturdays and Sundays are more just like lifestyle stuff, because I feel like people are at soccer games and whatever, like at least in my niche, how do you say that? Niche, whatever that word is. You guys know what I'm talking about. And so, yeah, I mean, that's just kind of, I really just stick to kind of like a schedule on my social media of what I'm posting. And then I just plug into, you guys, like, literally, I think if I can do this, anyone can do this, because I'm probably the most unorganized person. And I was as a teacher as well. I know they say like teachers are the most organized, and I like break that mold, because I feel like I was not very organized, and I always fly by the seat of my pants, and I'm always just kind of like, hey guys, do you want to do a sneak peek? Like, let's do it this week. Or like, we're going to be doing I have a retreat at the end of September, and I'm like, let's just do a live retreat sneak peek, and like, it'll be fun. And like, so I'll do 2 sneak peeks in a row. Like, it's fine. It doesn't matter. Like, the more the merrier, So that's awesome, Heather.
I love how you invite your challenge. Do you have actual challenge groups? Do you do like a program that you coach people through, or do you do like a month thing?
So with 2B Mindset, like that's first, honestly, the first thing that I ever talk to people about, because that's like officially what changed my life. Like that's the thing that like pushed me to get the best results in the healthiest way. Like I remember doing hammer and chisel, and I got awesome results with hammer and chisel, and my body really responds to weights, but literally not very many people like to lift heavy weights. Like you're not going to find a ton of moms who are like, yeah, I want to go like hit the gym hard. Like there are some, but most of the moms are like, I haven't even worked out in like 7 years. Like I can't do that. And so 2B Mindset for me is like the best. And I always, well, for the most part, I usually will have people do 2B with BOD. And the reason why is because even if they're not ready to work out yet, and I talk to them about this, I'll say, I promise you, when you lose all this weight in your first month, and I just give them that confidence, so they're like, okay, I'm going into this, like, I'm going to do this all in, like, I'm going to commit. I say, when you lose all this weight in the first month, like, you're probably going to lose a significant amount for you. And by month 2, you're going to be feeling so good in your skin. You're going to want to work out. You're going to be like, gosh, I feel good. Like my clothes are fitting. I want to like tone up. I want to start getting some muscles. And you're going to want to work out. So I tell them, I say, even though you might only be doing like nothing in BOD your first month, you're going to want it in month 2. And you want to say, I want to save you the most amount of money. Like you either spend $40 for it now, or you spend $100 for it next month. And they're like, yeah, that definitely makes sense. I don't want to spend $100 next month. And I can see, like, I actually really like exercising. I just haven't felt like I can. I don't have the energy. And so they always go with the bigger package. And I honestly think it's the better package. Like, it's way better, a way better deal. I always like a good deal. And so I'm always going to share the best deal with them. And I have 100% belief in 2B Mindset that it is literally like the most life-changing program that is going to help them lose the weight that they want to lose. And I think because I have so much confidence in it, they can feel it. Like they know that I'm telling them the truth because it is the truth. And they know that I'm going to be there for them because I am so passionate about it. So why I got on that rant though was because I have a 2B Mindset community. So I plug people in there. I have all of like their prep posts where they're learning the program on Facebook as announcements. So they go through and they learn the 2B Mindset, and we post trackers every single day. So they're learning that accountability. They're having to share what they're eating. And honestly, like that was the game changer for me when I had to share my tracker in the test group. Like I wasn't about to eat like 20 M&Ms and have to write that down and have them be like, dude, you're like in the test group and you're eating M&Ms. This isn't even like, this doesn't make sense. Same thing for them. They have to show me, they have to show our group what they're eating. And so it will more than likely help them avoid things that they don't want people to see on their tracker. But I honestly, like, I'm not perfect. That's what I love about the 2B Mindset. You don't have to be perfect. Like the other day I had, and Brittany knows this is my downfall, I had a half a pint of Halo Top for lunch. So sue me. I don't know. And I wrote it down and all my girls saw. And then the next day I lost a pound. But you guys, that's what they need to see. Like you can mess up. I mean, I didn't tell them I had gained a pound over the weekend, but you can mess up and you can be imperfect and you can still get really good results. So I have this mindset group. And then I do have like an ongoing challenge group.
Okay, that was my next question. I think you just answered that for me. That, you know, I've had people recently purchase the 2B Mindset, but we have a Girl Wash Your Face 4-week group starting on Monday. And, you know, everyone's reading that book or listening to it on Audible. Some people are doing 2B, Lift 4. It's like a multi-program. And I do have an ongoing 2B Mindset social learning group set up on Facebook.
Yeah.
And then I have this multi-program, and I'm just confused as to what I should do with those 2B and the multi-program, you know, because it's set up so differently.
Yeah, so what I'm doing is like anyone who gets 2B, they go into the 2B community. If they're also like doing the like like I have a same group. I don't even know if we're on the same team. We might be, but we're doing that exact same thing where we're like spicing up our marriage and we're using Girl Wash Your Face and her little challenge, which scares me to death. But yeah, so we're
Sexy September. Is that what you're saying? Sexy September? Yeah. Okay, carry on.
Yeah, that's exactly it. My husband's stoked and I'm like, I don't know. And he's like, I love Spice Up Your Life. I'm like, no. Anyway, so I like to just put them in both, and they both have different purposes, right? Like Tubi is really like accountability for their food. Like they're sharing their tracker. It's not like they're like posting their sweaty selfies in there, like they're posting their tracker. I have a message thread that I'll be like, I'll go in there and I'll say, go post your trackers, you guys, don't forget. Just a little reminder. So they go into the group and they post it. I do like a week-long tracker. So I have just a graphic that says post your trackers below for this week, and I'll have the date. And then they go in and they just create their own threads. So they make a comment and then they reply to that with Tuesday, and then they reply to that with Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So they've learned like that keeps it really organized so we don't have a million messages, because there's like a couple hundred people in there. And like this is for my entire downline. Like we all put our people in there, and that way I feel like my coaches don't have to recreate the wheel. We have that huge community. We have that like group of people who are all doing To Be Mindset, and they have that same support. The message thread is only my people, so that's a little different maybe, and then the Spice Up Your Life group is going to be more like engaging in the posts, like really talking about our workouts, really sharing those sweaty selfies, doing the little challenges, all of that stuff. And then I also have like a lifetime group on the app, and that's just people logging their workouts, staying accountable, people who I've been working with for like 3 years, or more, some of them. So I have a few different places and a few different things, but it's all pretty seamless in how it runs. Like I have an assistant who does all of my app posts. I do all the interacting, but she schedules the posts. And then I do all like the liking and commenting and all that stuff. So I know what my people are going through. I know what they're checking in with. And if there's ever one when she's in there that's like, oh my gosh, I'm really struggling, because I don't know if this happens to you guys, but sometimes not all the posts show up in my app. And I have to like refresh, or like it doesn't like populate. So if she sees one, she'll screenshot it and be like, this girl just commented this, like you should go talk to her. And so I'll usually private message them and also comment on their post. But anyway, so I do have an assistant that helps with a lot of the scheduling, but like the Facebook stuff is more me scheduling it. I don't know if that helps, but it's kind of similar to what you're doing, I feel like. But I would say also in your To Be Mindset group, go live in there. Like let them ask you questions. And that's one of the things that has really like helped my girls stick with it, is they get to hear me and they get to talk to me and they get to see my face. They get to interact. They get to ask the hard questions. They get to be saying things like, I'm really struggling this month and I've gained weight and I'm really frustrated. And so we'll talk about that, and I'll talk about the videos that Alana shares, and we'll talk about some of those affirmations that she gives. And then, of course, like the next day, they're back on track and they're eating more veggies and they're drinking more water and they're really having a positive mindset, and then they're losing weight. And so I think you just have to be that reminder, just like we are with our coaches. We have to do that same thing with our challengers, because your body, it just is crazy and it can do crazy things.
Okay, I'm going to end it. I'm going to ask a golden question, the golden question. This question. So all of these leaders are working hard towards big goals by the end of the year. So my question for you is, what piece of advice or inspiration or anything that you would like to share to really encourage them to work towards those goals by year end?
I feel like that's a loaded question, but if there's anything I could say, is just go all in. Like that's how you get results in your fitness, by going all in. Like you can't just kind of do it and expect to get the best, most amazing results. You really have to be all in, and it can be exhausting, but I promise you it's worth it. Just like in your fitness, like it's hard work, and sometimes you're going to want to like collapse on the floor and cry a little and whatever. You might do that in your business too. Honestly, like there were some days where I remember calling Britt crying, like I'm really frustrated, or I haven't slept in 4 days or whatever. But I promise you the hustle is worth it. Like the grind that you're putting in right now will pay off at the end. And when you see your coaches making big strides and when you see them having success, like that to me, I kind of opened up to my team this year and I just said, I hope you guys know, like, I don't want to only rank advanced myself. Like, I don't want to get you to diamond so I rank advanced. Like, I want every single one of you hitting 15-star with me. Like, I don't want just me up there alone. That sucks. That's so boring. And I don't want to be alone. You know, like, I want to have my crew on the stage with me and we're all doing this together. And when they heard me say that out loud, I think their mindset shifted and they're like, crap, like I have to do more for our team and for my team. And they started thinking about their coaches than I'm doing right now. And Cozy actually posted this the other day, and I'll show you guys the image. And I shared it with my team, and maybe I'll just share it with you to close out. But she said, if your team did what you're doing during your power hour, would they succeed? And that was a huge eye-opener for me and for my coaches. You guys, I wasn't inviting. Do you remember me saying that? Like, I literally wasn't inviting. I was like, you guys need to invite. And they're like thinking I'm doing it. And I felt like a fraud. And so when I started doing it and showing them, then they're like, okay, Melissa did it. She's already posted it and it's 9 a.m. Like, I've got to get on this. I'm going to do it on my lunch hour. I'm going to do it during nap time. And it held them accountable and it kind of gave them permission to work hard. Like Brittany said, like, I feel like I have to give them permission to do all these things when really they just need me to give them confidence and belief that they can do it, you know? So just go all in and work your hardest. Like, don't, at the end of the year, even if you don't hit your goals, and I'm starting to like get flashbacks into like back into my sports days, but all of my coaches would be like, you need to finish your game. Like, you need to finish this game with everything that you have. Like, you need to be at the end feeling like I gave everything I have. I worked my very hardest, and no matter what the result, I feel really good. And I feel like I gave it my all. And if you've done that, then you've succeeded. Like, that's all you can do is just do your very best and give it your all. And you're never going to fail if you're doing that.
You are amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you for being real, for being raw. And I think just obviously the encouraging words are always accepted and appreciated. So thank you. I appreciate you all tuning in. I appreciate you asking questions. For you that just sat back and listened, I hope you got some nuggets that really you can take away with this. And just, I think the beautiful thing is there's success available to every single person. You know, you put in the hard work, you show up every single day. I love that Kate called you out on that because I had no idea that you were inviting. So I love that she called you out on that. That's actually really cool. But thank you. And I appreciate you ladies. It looks like Justin popped off. So ladies, thank you for being here. And if you need anything, obviously let me know. And I know Melissa will share several things with me and I will send those along to you. So thank you, Melissa. I really appreciate you.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Okay.
Bye, you guys.
Bye, ladies.